Every clear night, billions of people look up at the same sky. Some see stars, some recognize constellations, others simply admire the beauty of the night. But very few realize what they're truly looking at. Because the night sky isn't showing us the universe as it exists today. It's showing us the universe as it once was. Every point of light above your head is a messenger from the past. Some of those messages began their journey just over a second ago. Others have been traveling for years, centuries, even millions of years, before finally reaching your eyes. The farther you look into space, the farther you look back in time. Astronomers often say that telescopes are time machines, not because they can travel through time, but because they allow us to see it. Tonight, we'll take a journey across the night sky, not to discover distant places, but to discover how deeply into history we've been looking all along. Light travels. Everything begins with one simple fact. Light travels at a finite speed. It doesn't move infinitely fast. It travels at about 300,000 kilometers every second. Fast enough to circle the Earth more than 7 times in a single second. Here on Earth, that speed feels almost instantaneous. When you turn on a lamp, the room fills with light immediately. When you shine a flashlight across a garden, the beam reaches the other side so quickly that your eyes can't detect any delay. But the universe is different. Its distances are so enormous that even light needs time to cross them. Imagine someone observing Earth from a planet 100 light-years away. No matter how powerful their telescope was, they wouldn't see our world as it is today. They would see Earth exactly as it was 100 years ago. Because that's how long the light has been traveling. In the universe, distance and time are inseparable. Every beam of light carries a snapshot of the moment it left its source. And until that light reaches us, we have no way of knowing what happened afterward. That single idea changes the way we see the night sky. Because every time you look up, you're not looking at the present. You're witnessing history. The moon. Just 1.3 seconds away. Let's begin with our closest neighbor, the moon. It feels close enough to touch, a familiar companion that has watched over humanity for thousands of years. But even the moon is farther away than our minds naturally imagine. On average, it takes light about 1.3 seconds to travel from the moon to Earth. That means the moon you're seeing tonight isn't the moon of this exact moment. It's the moon as it was just over 1 second ago. It may not sound like much. After all, what can really change in a single second? But that's not the point. The moon reminds us of something far more important. Even across the relatively small distances of our cosmic neighborhood, nothing is truly seen in real time. The universe doesn't reveal itself instantly. Every view comes with a delay measured not by clocks, but by the time light needs to reach us. And as the distances grow larger, so does the journey. The sun, 8 minutes in the past. Now let's take one step farther, to the star that makes life on Earth possible, the sun. Although it dominates our sky, it is nearly 150 million kilometers away. At the speed of light, that journey takes about 8 minutes and 20 seconds. Every sunrise you have ever witnessed, every ray of sunlight warming your face, every sunset you've ever admired, began its journey more than 8 minutes before you experienced it. In other words, the sun you see right now belongs to the past. Imagine, for a moment, something impossible. If the sun were to disappear this very instant, the sky would remain bright, birds would keep singing, the Earth would continue orbiting as if nothing had happened. For 8 minutes and 20 seconds, we would have no idea, because the last rays of sunlight would still be on their way. Only when they reached Earth would we finally discover that something had changed. It's a remarkable thought. Even the closest star in our lives can only tell us about its past. And if light needs more than 8 minutes to cross the distance from the sun, what happens when the journey lasts years, or even centuries? The stars, messages across the years. Once we leave our solar system, everything changes. The moon is measured in seconds, the sun in minutes, but the stars are measured in years. Astronomers use a unit called the light year. Despite its name, it isn't a measure of time, it's a measure of distance. A light year is the distance that light travels in one entire year, nearly 10 trillion kilometers. The numbers are almost impossible to imagine. So instead of thinking about distance, think about time. Take Sirius, the brightest star in our night sky. Its light takes about 8.5 years to reach Earth. The Sirius you see tonight is the Sirius of more than 8 years ago. Every photon entering your eyes began its journey long before this moment. Other stars are even farther away. Polaris, the North Star, rests hundreds of light years from Earth. The light guiding travelers tonight left that star centuries ago. Before the invention of electricity, before airplanes, before humanity reached space. When you look at the stars, you're not seeing one single moment. You're looking at countless moments from history. Every star tells a story from a different point in time. The night sky isn't a photograph. It's a collection of memories. Giants of the night sky. Some stars are so distant that their light began its journey before entire civilizations rose and fell. One of the most famous is Betelgeuse, a red supergiant shining in the constellation Orion. It lies roughly 550 light-years from Earth. The light reaching your eyes tonight left Betelgeuse around the time Leonardo da Vinci was painting, long before the telescope was invented, long before anyone knew what stars truly were. Everything that happened on Earth since then, the rise and fall of empires, scientific discoveries, the Industrial Revolution, the first flight, the first steps on the moon, all of it unfolded while those same photons continued their silent journey through space. And here's an even more fascinating thought. Betelgeuse is nearing the end of its life. One day, it will explode as a spectacular supernova. It may have already happened, or it may not happen for another 100,000 years. We simply don't know, because until the light from that event reaches Earth, the universe keeps its secret. The farther we look, the less we see of the present, and the more we uncover the distant past. Beyond the Milky Way, for thousands of years, everything humanity could see belonged to a single galaxy, our home, the Milky Way, a vast collection of hundreds of billions of stars, stretching across more than 100,000 light-years. For a long time, we believed it was the entire universe. We were wrong. Beyond the Milky Way lie countless other galaxies, each one filled with stars, planets, and histories of their own. The closest large galaxy to ours is Andromeda. On a clear, dark night, it can be seen with the naked eye, a faint patch of light, barely visible against the darkness. It doesn't look extraordinary, but appearances can be deceiving. The light from Andromeda has traveled for about 2.5 million years before reaching Earth. When that journey began, our distant ancestors were just beginning to walk the Earth. There were no cities, no writing, no civilizations. Everything humanity has ever built, every language, every kingdom, every discovery, every dream, has unfolded while that light was silently crossing the vast emptiness between galaxies. When you look at Andromeda tonight, you're not simply looking across space, you're looking across millions of years of history. And Andromeda is only one of billions of galaxies scattered throughout the observable universe. Every one of them is another chapter in a story written with light. Looking back to the beginning, As our telescopes became more powerful, they revealed something extraordinary. The farther we looked into space, the younger the universe appeared. Nearby galaxies look much like our own, but galaxies billions of light years away appear smaller, less organized, still growing. Not because they are different today, but because we are seeing them as they were billions of years ago. Modern telescopes, like Hubble and James Webb, allow us to look so far into space that we are witnessing some of the earliest galaxies ever formed. Their light has spent more than 13 billion years traveling across the cosmos. By the time it reaches our telescopes, it has crossed almost the entire history of the universe. These galaxies are not ancient relics preserved somewhere in space. They have continued to evolve for billions of years. Many may have changed beyond recognition. Some may no longer exist at all. Yet the light arriving today still carries the story of their distant past. In a sense, astronomy is unlike any other science. A geologist studies the history of Earth through rocks. An archaeologist uncovers the past through ancient ruins. But an astronomer studies history itself, simply by collecting light that has been traveling through space for billions of years. The deeper we look into the universe, the closer we come to its beginning. The oldest light, so far, every beam of light we've followed has come from the moon, the sun, the stars, or distant galaxies. But there is an even older light, the oldest light that can ever be seen. To find it, we have to travel back almost to the beginning of time. The universe began about 13.8 billion years ago. In its earliest moments, it was unimaginably hot and dense. There were no stars, no planets, no galaxies, only an ocean of energy and particles. For hundreds of thousands of years, the universe was so hot that light could not travel freely. It was trapped, scattered endlessly by the particles surrounding it. Then, something remarkable happened. As the universe expanded, it cooled. About 380,000 years after the Big Bang, atoms formed for the very first time. Suddenly, light was free to move across the cosmos. That ancient light has been traveling ever since, not for years, not for millions of years, but for more than 13 billion years. Today, it fills the entire universe. It surrounds us in every direction, invisible to our eyes, yet still carrying the oldest story that light can tell. Astronomers call it the cosmic microwave background. It is not the light of the Big Bang itself. It is the oldest light that survived the birth of the universe, a quiet echo, still crossing space after billions of years. Every time we detect it, we are looking almost as far back as light itself allows us to see. Tonight, if you step outside and look up at the sky, you'll see something beautiful, but you'll also see something far more extraordinary. The moon you'll see belongs to a moment just over 1 second ago. The sun you watch today belonged to a morning more than 8 minutes in the past. The stars above you tell stories that began years, centuries, or even millennia ago. The faint glow of Andromeda started its journey long before the first cities were ever built, and the oldest light in the universe has been traveling for more than 13 billion years, simply to reach us. Every clear night, the universe tells its story, not with words, but with light. And every time you look up, you become its reader. The night sky is more than a collection of distant lights. It is the greatest archive ever discovered, a record of time itself, written across the darkness, one photon at a time.